I played more Pokemon games this past year than any other year of my life. And frankly, I feel stupid for not realizing something about this series sooner. Even when I was a kid, I didn't play that much Pokemon. In fact, around Gen 4, I dropped off completely. I kind of got tired of the Pokemon formula as I got older and just went on to other things. Had no intention to ever look back. So how did this happen? How am I back here again, spending hundreds and hundreds of hours on mainline Pokemon games? The actual answer to that is kind of complicated, but there is one central issue that everything kind of revolves around that I only realized this past year, and that is I have been playing Pokemon games the wrong way my entire life. Now, I know when I explain what I mean by that, it's going to sound painfully obvious, but I cannot stress how big of a turning point this was for me. I looked back at this past year and had to seriously question my own motives. If I was actually playing these Pokemon games again because I genuinely enjoyed them now, or if I was just doing it for content because, yeah, I started off making Pokemon Go videos and it just kind of made sense to play the new Pokemon games that were coming out for streams and for making videos. So to honestly answer that question, am I playing these games for fun or for content? The answer is yes. Both of those things are true. And in fact, it was me buying Brilliant Diamond for the sole purpose of just playing it on stream. Didn't expect to really get that sucked into it. That moment led me to finally understanding what I had been missing about the Pokemon series all this time. Like, single player RPGs are still one of my favorite genres. I just love having a good story in an immersive world with good music, a decent challenge. Like, to me, that's the peak video game experience. I'm also a huge completionist, which makes it very difficult to finish a game once I found one that I'm enjoying, because I will want to collect everything in it. And this might all sound very strange because I'm essentially describing everything that a Pokemon game has to offer, right? I should love Pokemon games based on this description, but Pokemon is not a normal RPG. There is one important difference that is baked into the design of Pokemon itself. And quite frankly, it's embarrassing to admit that I'm only just realizing this now, but here it is. Pokemon games were not meant to be played alone. And that's it. That's the simple secret I had been missing. And I know I'm not stating anything profound, but I assure you, for me, this moment turned the entire series on its head. Everything made sense when I looked back, and here I am now playing Pokemon games, even the painfully broken ones, and having a fantastic time because I'm in a position now where I'm finally sharing my journey with others, and I'm able to understand and get invested in other people's journeys, which in some cases stretch back literally decades just because of how long this game series has been around and how long people have stuck with it. Getting to know people through this community and just seeing the huge variety of ways that people approach these games and the different things that they value, it's just fascinating. Like, I feel like you can genuinely tell a lot about a person just based on what their favorite Pokemon is or hearing their opinions about the games. And don't worry, I'm very self-aware that I'm essentially calling the sky blue here. Like, solo gamer discovers that community can be fun. Like, I know what this sounds like, and I'm not saying you can't enjoy these games playing them solo. Obviously, a lot of people probably do that. But to me, it's kind of like playing Pokemon Go from your car or with a joystick. Like, it just kind of goes against the spirit of the game. The Pokemon series was designed with socialization in mind from the very beginning. Like, you literally have to meet up with people to trade to finish the Pokedex, which is like the main goal of pretty much any Pokemon game. And sure, the way they split the games into two versions might also be motivated by other business reasons, but I'm willing to cut Nintendo and Game Freak some slack there because it's basically a tradition at this point, and people seem to love it, so yeah, why would they change that? It doesn't bother me, and who doesn't love picking sides, right? Especially this time around with Scarlet and Violet, I think they fully justified splitting the versions because there are substantial differences between the two games, some of which I do not want to spoil, but if you have not finished either of these games yet, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor and get to the final act. I was so surprised by the story of this game. You have very, very low expectations with Pokemon game stories. I don't think it's any secret that, you know, story and plot has never been like the main selling point of a Pokemon game, but I think we're finally getting there. All we need is voice acting, and these will be single player games, and then you can just forget everything I said. And there is some post-game content too, but if anything, the weakness of this game is there's just not that much to do unless you really care about shiny hunting or doing raids. And as much as I love the post-game of Pokemon Legends Arceus and checking all those boxes for the Pokedex, unfortunately that just doesn't exist in Scarlet and Violet. So I've had to kind of make my own list of boxes to check. If you're going to keep playing these games, you really kind of have to make your own fun out of it, which is something Pokemon players are very familiar with. And to prove that, I asked people what they're doing in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet if they're still playing it. And I got a pretty big variety of responses. I will say most people are either aiming for a full shiny dex or have completely stopped playing the game and they're just waiting for DLC to come out. You know, that's totally fair. That's exactly how I would have been playing these games just a few years ago. Not everybody's gonna enjoy grinding away at a living shiny dex, but plenty of people had more specific realistic shiny goals, like just focusing on the new Pokemon that were added and getting those shinies, or just trying to get shiny Paradox forms. Very popular one is getting all the shiny evolutions, or my personal favorite, shiny hunting the new rare evolution forms, like the 3 family Mousehold, which is pretty difficult, by the way, and shame on you, Callie, for giving up on that so quickly. I also noticed a lot of people just wanted to make the game more challenging, you know, like shiny hunting without using the sandwiches, which people kind of agree are a little overpowered, you know, attempting various forms of Nuzlocke. And then we've got Champ Brayden, who's just got the modest goal of trying to be the best, like no one ever was when it comes to competitive PvP. But I would say in general, these goals are the less common ones because, you know, finishing the story in a Pokemon game might be easy, but I think most normal people struggle to do anything after that. You know, like finishing the base Pokedex is really hard, Chef Kaya, I get it. But from there, this is where things get really goofy, okay? These are the ultra specific goals, usually hyper personalized. This is where you start to get people that are like structuring their whole Pokemon team around some kind of theme. I saw this Roy G. Biv color challenge that Lightning Noodle is doing. What even is that? Shout out to Trevor for going against the grain. You know, forget the living dex, he's doing the unalive dex. That's hilarious to me. And then we got Solar Kid over here who's doing some kind of challenge that involves his girlfriend guessing what types his Pokemon look like, and then whatever she says, he's just gonna Terra type them to that type. Like like what? You know, all these have just been kind of random comments so far, but I do have friends and mutuals working on stuff like OG Slender PG, who's trying to catch 18 shiny Sudowoodos so that he can have a living Terra dex of his favorite Pokemon. You know, that's a cute goal. That makes sense. And then you have Bandy, who I guess is out to prove a point that shiny hunting might be a little bit too easy in this game by going for the ultra rare 3-segment shiny Dunsparce. But instead of doing this like a regular person and just hunting shiny Dunsparce and evolving them till she gets one, she's gonna hunt 100 shiny Dunsparce and then evolve all of them on a stream if we're lucky. And lastly, we have Shiny King T, who honestly I didn't even know was playing Scarlet and Violet, but he said he is trying to become Larry, which I'm not exactly sure what that involves, but I respect that because we love Larry. As for me, you guys might already know that I'm working on a living bug Terra dex. I'm trying to turn every Pokemon in the game into a bug type, but there is one other challenge that I have not talked about yet. Because when I played through the story, I tried to limit myself, you know? I tried not to overlevel too much. I wanted to give myself a challenge, but it wasn't enough, and I figured the only way to give myself a true challenge would be to do one of the most challenging things you can do in a Pokemon game, and that is a Nuzlocke, but with bugs. I'm gonna do a bug lock, and I'm gonna do it in the version I did not play, which was Pokemon Scarlet, because, you know, I heard y'all have mommy issues over there, and I kind of just want to see what that's all about. And if you didn't know already, I mean, bug types are some of the worst types in the game. They have bad coverage, their overall stats are just low, so we're probably going to lose a lot of bugs. So fair warning, don't get too attached to any of them. I'm talking to myself. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. That's how I ended up here. I think I would have enjoyed playing Scarlet and Violet no matter what, but playing it with the community, with you guys, and just the amount of like community lore that was developed over the past couple months, I will always cherish that, and that made the games exponentially more enjoyable to play. So thank you guys for sharing these journeys with me, and maybe even thank you to Niantic, because if it weren't for Pokemon Go, I don't think I ever would have learned that even a truly broken game can be carried and redeemed by an awesome community. I am a diehard Pokemon fan. I cannot wait to see where this series goes. Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are taking it in a new direction that personally excites me very much, in spite of the other maybe concerning things that they have going on. But you know, you roll with the punches, right? You win some and you lose some, but you just have fun with your friends along the way. And there are so many other series that I am passionate about that I really have kind of neglected the past few years. But you know, they'll get their time in the sun. But for now, keep an eye on my channels because I'm gonna be live. I'm gonna be live doing bug raids and this Nuzlocke. So hope to see you there.